Good to see y'all again. Getting ready to play our first conference opponent this week in Clemson, who's a very good football team right now. Finishing up grading, looking at the game from last week, looking at some of the opportunities that we should have capitalized on and had a chance to take advantage of, and very disappointed in some things. I mean, did some good things in the game, but had some great opportunities in that game that we should have seen some opportunities on both sides of the ball and in the special teams, all three phases that we could have taken advantage of, and we didn't. And but we did some good things on all parts. But at the same time, moral victories is not what we're here for. We had an opportunity to win that football game, and we didn't do it. And Oklahoma's a great team, and hats off to them. Now we have to put that one behind us, and then move on and get in our conference schedule, and be ready to play. And Clemson's going to be a great environment for them. They're 3-0. They're playing well. Got a good football team, offensively, defensively, special teams, and it's going to be a great challenge anytime it is to go on the road and have a great conference opponent. So we will have our hands full. Need a great week of preparation to begin our conference quest to do what we need to do.
About injuries, Coach? Starting with EJ, what's going on?
We're waiting to find out. He's seeing a doctor today, and it was as an AC. He had the sprain step or whatever you call it. And they're just evaluating it right now to make sure how bad it is, if there's anything in there, and we'll get an MRI just to make sure. I don't want to say anything to it, but I think it's just a slight whether it's sprain step or however you look at it, medium grade thing, and it'll be a pain tolerance thing, and where it goes and where it is, we'll see here and be able to judge here probably in a couple of days, and when the MRI comes back.
You go to TOC?
I don't know where you go. I'm not sure. So you can go get your people over there.
The fact that it's his left shoulder would obviously make it a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah, it would be a lot better. Oh, it's much better than your right shoulder. There's no doubt about that.
Playing, will it be as much a concern?
Well, I mean, it's a concern, but not as much, and because that shouldn't affect you. And I mean, it will in your follow-throughs and things like that. But I mean, in time, it's that happens a lot. I actually had 2 of them like that during my career. I mean, they are painful when you do it, but they're tolerable, and you can manage through those. But you just got to make sure it doesn't affect your throwing motion.
Coach, looking back at the tape, are there any plays in particular that stood out the most that you guys feel like that you kind of didn't take advantage of throughout the game?
Well, we had opportunities. I mean, the first, it was disappointing that, to me, there's 3 I's you got to play with: immediacy, intensity, and intelligence. And immediacy off the bat, that was the one thing, as great as we played on defense, and I felt, but we didn't have it coming out of the bat, right off the bat, and we let a score happen. Offense, we moved down, score, get a touchdown call back. Very disappointing that we matched them there, got 3 points out of it. The next drive, so like I say, the first 2 drives, we had 11-play drive and a 9-play drive. We get down there and got it again, and got the play where Kenny takes the hit, on the deal there, which we could have scored there, and then we get a motion penalty, which amazing on a shift that we're 3rd and 2 on the 4, and. I mean, it's just, those opportunities early, I think, because you had 2 touchdowns, you had 14 points on the board the first 2 drives of the football game. And then come back, and the 3rd time you had it, we break a 30-yard run down the sideline, get a holding call on a receiver. This happens. And then the 4th drive, we're driving down the middle of the field and got points for the half, and we're supposed to turn in and run an option route. We got a guy wide open in the middle of the field, and he turns out, and they get 3 going the other way. But our defense then did a great job in the red zone and made a great goal line stand to keep us in the game. But I think those drives early were very disappointing. And some of the things that we had a couple of opportunities in the second half that were there too. But when you play a good football team, you got to let them go, and you got to be able to. I told our kids in the beginning of that game, passion, excitement, all that's going to be great. At the end of the day, it's going to come back to one word: execution. Can you execute in those key situations? And we let a couple of those situations go that I think could have changed the game, and our defense did some great things, and we didn't force them. We tied it up, and then we happened to give up the 1 drive. We have 1 missed assignment there on a 3rd and 12 that they don't have anywhere to throw it if we get it, and that's ball. I mean, and it's no one's fault. It's not because they don't want to. We got to learn. We have to learn to finish, because as you could say, I mean, and I say it's not moral victories. We could have won that football game, and that's something we got to learn to do and win those big games.
Jimbo, would you need to see EJ Wednesday or Thursday out of practice the field? Okay, could he go the whole week?
I'm sure he could, but we'll wait and see. I mean, we'll wait and see. And he came back on the sideline, could have went back in the football game. But they couldn't give me a definite answer on what the injury was. And I wasn't about I was not going to put his career on the line on something like that. And Clinton, we'd moved the ball some with Clinton. We're doing all right. I'm not going to do that to any young man. I don't care. And he wanted to. He come back on that sideline ready to play, but they couldn't give me a definitive answer as far as what the injury was because they don't know. Doctor, I mean, they say it's a slight, but you know, it's the third ball game of the year, and you're talking about a young man's career and rest of the season and a lot of things there. So we didn't do it. So, but we'll wait and see how he is.
Jimbo, how much are you concerned about your lack of a running game to this point in time, and also what's the story on Jermaine Thomas?
I mean, Jermaine, whether we run or not, that's the issue. Who the back is, the backs are playing well. They're not. There's not anything there. And Jermaine will get some time. He's going to get some time. But we got to block better. We got to find some holes. We got to block better and be consistent. The first couple drives we did though. It's crazy that sound. We had some runs for EJ, and which we don't want to run him too much. We ran him 4 or 5 times in the game, and every time we had anywhere from 8 to 24 yards. I mean, and it was some good things. But we got to get better in the running game. We got to line up and be able to run the football. There's no doubt, and to take pressure off the quarterback and pass rush and things that go on. And we have to get better at it. There's no doubt. And we're not playing like we're capable of, and they know it. And it's not anything there. We got to get it done. We got to get it done.
Did the move of Stork and Fair improve?
Yeah, I think it helped. We were much better in there. I mean, I thought Stork had a few missed things, but played pretty. He played pretty well center. He really did, especially for his first ball game and what he did. When you look at the film, he did not play poorly. He did not play poorly.
It seemed like there were some numbers issues in the running games. Were they? I mean, it seemed like they blitzed into some runs.
They blitzed a couple times, but that's the one run that we have where EJ pulled it and gashed it up inside before they had the same blitz on. And then we pulled it the second time and we missed the block. EJ the second series would have been another run like that. When the guy in the hole, we just missed the block. I mean, he just missed the guy. One of our guards just missed him. And the other time was we should have pulled it and did it again. They were blitzing off the edge, and it's a combined read, pull, and stick up in there, and we handed it the second time. Is what happened on that one. We should have.
Jimbo, what is Scooter Hagan's status? Is he hurt?
Yeah. Scooter's out.
For how long?
Probably he'll have surgery tomorrow. He broke his hand in the game somewhere and played the whole game with it. That's he's got to have his left hand. He played the whole game with it. Didn't have no idea when it was hurt. Come in and said my hand's hurt.
Well, you're getting thin there, aren't you? All of a sudden, I mean, you're long there now. You're.
But Scooter's definitely out.
Do you have any idea about Kenny?
No, Kenny actually feels much better. He come back on the sideline, remembers everything, can remember beforehand. You know, a little, but has a slight. But so we'll set him today and let the evaluation of how he is and keep him calm. But he was much better than we anticipated. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, some guys can bounce back from that, like you say, and we'll have to go on the safe side, but we'll err. But I don't say I'm optimistic, but I feel very good. You were sure that was a long-term deal, but it wasn't. He was very coherent and very up to date on everything right after the ball game, which was great. And that was a big thing on his safety.
Coach, it's early, but is Rashad Green showing enough that he's one of those kids that could be special down the road?
I'm hoping so. He's been special so far. He did a great job in that game, hitting crossing routes, getting open, and you know, he played almost the whole game. I mean, and he got in there and mixed it up and did a really nice job, and has some really big play potential.
Coach, when it comes to Willie, I know we're different when it comes to diagnosing concussions now versus we used to be. If this has been 10 years ago, do you think he might have already been playing by now?
I couldn't tell you that. I mean, well, 10, 15 years ago, probably. I mean, but we threw everybody back in there. You know what I mean? But he still has the symptoms, and that's the thing. He has many more symptoms than Kenny. I mean, Kenny doesn't have half of what he does, from what I understand, or how much. Kenny doesn't have much at all. So, just each individual is different.
Does he have a red shirt to give, Coach, and would you consider that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we'll wait and see when he can come back. I don't want to wait.
You mentioned EJ's running and him having gotten hurt on a run. Will you even evaluate that more?
Let me ask you this. Who's the two greatest players we've talked about in college football for the last 50 years that we've all bragged about? We've said two of the best we've ever seen.
Tebow and Newton.
How many times they run the ball? Tebow and Cam Newton.
20 times a game.
20, 25 times a game. I mean, got hurt in the pocket. I mean, that's what we did. I mean, when you're talking about a true run, I mean, those guys, I mean, that's what made them what they are. And we needed that to move the football to run, and that was what we were doing, moving the ball down the field. And the hit, it was the way it happened. It wasn't just got tackled and the way it just fell down on the shoulder. Could have happened. That really got flipped. He just tackled and fell. Wasn't no flip. Wasn't anything. I mean, it was just a normal routine deal. And we can second guess that all we want, but how those guys, they win Heisman trophies, and it's not his fault. I mean, he's as bigger than they are, and actually faster. I mean, and played well, ran well. I mean, can get hit in the pocket the same way. I mean, guys get hurt in the pocket the same way. I always say that, and it's just unfortunate it happened to us.
Looks like, Coach, you're locked in the ACC for certainly the near future, if not a lot longer. Pitt and the addition of Pitt and Syracuse. What's your thoughts on that? And I'm also curious if you were asked for your opinion on it before the president voted.
No, it was not. It was not, and they made a good choice of two outstanding universities. I mean, good tradition, good football programs, good basketball programs, good academic schools. I mean, as far as from what I understand, good additions to the ACC.
Coach, obviously the fan base wants to win every game, of course, but it seems like this loss in particular, the fans are taking it very well, and they're still holding their heads up high. Does it feel any different of a loss to you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't want that. I mean, it's a game we could have won. It's a game we could have won. We need to win, and we have to. And I understand some of that, but moral victories aren't what we're here. I mean, that's what mediocre people settle for. We don't want to be mediocre. We don't want to be mediocre. Now we have a lot of work to do. We want to be in the elite. We have to win, and we have to win those kind of games. And that's what we have to continue to move forward to.
Did O'Leary get banged up in that game?
Nope.
Okay.
We got to get him in there and play more.
2 more questions.
We'll start Reed. Looked like maybe he was going to go.
Yeah, he just still had too much soreness and pain in the ankle to push and accelerate and do the things he needed to do. And say the other receivers played very well in the game. I mean, those young guys did a great job. And not that we didn't miss him, but I mean, I don't think that had any effect on anything in that game. But we got to get him healthy. Hopefully this week that ankle will get over that. That last little part. I mean, being 80%, getting that last burst, and that's what Bert's game is. It's speed and quickness and what he is.
Jimbo, can you talk about Clemson? Obviously, their offense is starting to get going with the new scheme.
Very good defensive people. Big people on defense, athletic, multiple schemes, good players. Offense, got good skill. Quarterback's done a good job. Good sideline, good running backs. They run spread stuff, and they were able to overcome a 14-point deficit twice in that game. Was up 14, down 14-0, and then 21-7, and come back. And I mean, they're playing well. They've got a very good and do good on special teams. They got a very good special teams group. I mean, they're a very good football team. Guys, very talented, and our draft picks. We got to have a great week of preparation, find ways to do some things, and move the football and stop them on defense and create and win the special teams battle. And that was one thing too. Field position in that game. You go back in our last game, 8 out of our 11 possessions was from our 25 back. That was an old slugfest. That was field position. Like I talked about, when you're having to drive 80 and 90 yards and the things you did. Like I say, we had 3 inside our 10, and 8 of the 11 we had were from our 25 behind. You know what I mean? So you had a couple times we got in the short field and we were able to convert and do some things. But we got to finish a couple of long drives in those.
What's tough about
Last question.
FFU hasn't won there in the last 4 times they played at Clemson, and you've coached there a few times.
One, they got good players, good team. I mean, first of all, you get caught in the environment, which is great, but you got to remember, still the guys on the field. They've got good players. And they've had good players, have for a while. I mean, they've had a lot more guys drafted than we have when you go back through it. Like I said last year, Rodney and offensively, I know they've had quite a few guys. I mean, like I said last year, Rodney and Ponder were the first offensive guys drafted here at Florida State in 4 years. And they've got good players, first of all. And then I think second, they got a great atmosphere, great environment, and they have good, solid coaching staff. I mean, they do a good job. I mean, they're a quality program and always have been.
All right, thanks, man.